Is from the book, like beforehand, besides my publisher, and she barely saw chapters.
Conway, and we had dinner together beforehand, and it was just such a pleasure.
You actually start 4 years, 6 years beforehand. You build a network, you pay it.
Beforehand, most kids tied through both color and proximity to the data point.
That exam. So about a week beforehand, you wake up at 3 a.m. in a
experiment like if you do not set up a tribe beforehand, did they reach to an agreement?
Plot points and stuff beforehand. So I was kind of wondering how much is written.
Kitchen beforehand, how we have those little candy jars like with the rooster, and you have to realize it.
Of what our mother had been eating that day, but also months beforehand. And we build those spines.
Wouldn't let me. I don't know if you guys got to know anything beforehand, but they wouldn't let me know a single thing until we.
In a way that he couldn't beforehand, and left a record that way. We don't know who.
The case beforehand.
Well, it is worth making the point that throughout
things beforehand, and I pre-edit my work a lot. But I stopped working with my hands. One time on a summer job, I kind of.
Of that period, the Athenians were better than they were beforehand. Yes, that's right, Socrates. Well, then why?
Maybe start with just a little bit about kind of what you knew about the play beforehand, because the play has been around a while.
What is the gospel preached beforehand to Abraham? The just, the...
If he hadn't had these series of wounds beforehand, he might have been in.
Can share even if we didn't see ourselves in that identity beforehand. Like that's the political.
We didn't discuss beforehand. It's so organic in exchange.
It was already a very pronounced phenomenon beforehand, because
Washington D.C. and 6 months beforehand, I had an idea because my Edisons are always saying, "Oh."
Steve Jobs, I'm rehearsing for days beforehand. I mean, he just gets up there.
Beforehand. Number one, please.
Hi, my name's Hannah.
That, and were you that much into it beforehand as well, or was this just something you kind of?
Her behaviour was the sex that happened beforehand, and how many times we hear about.
Was successful. It took a lot of thought beforehand. There was no altercation.
You know, and Ray is my man. Like, Ray even gave me a little forewarning beforehand.
Calypso a week beforehand. And it looked kind of like...
Is there anything that I didn't think of beforehand? Is my mind still open? Do I still know what's going on? Does this data some...
your work done beforehand? Because you never know. The choreographer, they all have done their work beforehand. So the choreographer has done the work.
As we were chatting beforehand, we were all, I think, a little mystified by, as the pace of this presidential campaign.
Beforehand is people are very excited about the marriage work. Okay, and I'm partly responsible.
Since July 1 and beforehand as the Vice Provost for Academic Affairs. Her commitment to UGA's mission and her dedication.
Discuss a short list beforehand of the people that are going to get promoted.
It's thought about beforehand so that each teacher or counselor
birth to a baby girl or baby a week beforehand. So you see, it is about power and
especially coming from someone else